The powerful organization Hezbollah, considered a terrorist organization by many countries, holds sway in many areas of Lebanon. Its fighters have been firing rockets into Israel, northern Israel, while Israel has responded with its own attacks. DW's Fanny Fichar went to the district of Kandak el Kamik in central Beirut, where a combination of social, economic, and religious factors have kept Hezbollah and their affiliates in control despite the risk of war with Israel.
This is the Beirut district of Khandak el-Khamik. The name means the deep trench. It's a poverty-stricken neighborhood with a dangerous reputation. Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah is pictured everywhere. But you can't just walk in and start filming. First, you have to meet with the so-called community leader. It's for our safety, he says. He used to be a fighter for a militia affiliated with Nasrallah's Hezbollah.
Nasrallah says we are supporting Gaza, so we are now fighting to reduce tension on Gaza. Hezbollah doesn't want war.
Nasrallah's words are seen by his followers as the message of Allah on earth, even as he talks of destroying Israel. His ideas echo in the mosque.
Israel is our enemy. We are a glorious nation, and we have glorious leaders.
But Hezbollah is not only a Shia Islamist militant group considered by many to be terrorists. It is also a political party, which with allies won the 2018 general election.
And even though it lost its parliamentary majority in 2022, in predominantly Shia areas like this one, it functions as a state within a failed state. That means it funds schools, hospitals, social institutions, services that because of the economic crisis, many communities depend on.
But that has a price tag. Many have paid with their lives as so-called martyrs. For young people here, the future looks bleak. Lebanon's economy in ruins, its infrastructure crumbling, and there's no functional government. With all that, this district is considered notorious for poverty and radicalism.
Every country is against us, but Hezbollah is with us. When the time comes, we will go and fight. This is our land, and we are with them.
Hezbollah feeds people here a resistance narrative. Shia Muslims fighting Western domination. Some dedicate their children to the cause.
Resistance means dignity, my pride, my glory. We were born to die, to become martyrs. I've already given 2 sons and my nephew.
His sons are pictured here. Both died fighting for Hezbollah against Israel. Maha Yahya writes on political violence and identity building in Lebanon. She says Hezbollah has clear reasons for providing services to people.
These services create a special bond, very strong, between the families who are receiving these services and Hezbollah. Hezbollah has the largest social service network, but also other parties do the same. So the main problem is the inexistence of the state.
Hezbollah's power in Khandak, shown to us as we entered, is always present for locals. Many would not speak on camera. But as the prospect of war with Israel looms, not everyone, even here, is willing to give up their children for the cause.
I worry about them, that maybe when they see all the men fighting, there is something inside them that encourages them to join. I don't want my children to join. I've raised them from when they were little until they were grown up. Sending them to war to lose them? No.
People in this area will pay the price if there is a full-blown war with Israel.
I'm joined now by our senior international correspondent, Fanny Fichar. She is in Beirut tonight. Fanny, good to see you. I understand you visited a district there in Beirut where Hezbollah holds sway, it's in control. What was the atmosphere like there, and are people afraid that war is going to come to them?
certainly across sectarian lines, and this is what I find quite interesting, that Lebanon is a very diverse country. As such, it is divided on many issues across sectarian lines. But when it comes to this issue, whether people want a war or not, most people will tell you certainly not. A lot of people here have vivid memories of the last war in 2006 between Hezbollah militants and Israeli forces, which erupted in the same region. This highly disputed and volatile border area between Lebanon and Israel, the very same location where we see an upflare of violence during the past 4 months, ever since, in fact, Hamas assault on Israel and retaliation, Israel attack on Gaza and the ongoing war in Gaza. So people are very much concerned that Lebanon will be pulled in one way or the other into a full-blown war. The question is only by which party here, by a non-state actor, as people refer to Hezbollah, the Shia Islamist militant group, or by Israel.
As we heard in your report, Fanny, this district, it functions as a state within a state. How does that work? And I'm wondering who or what is funding it?
I think it's really important to understand that here in Lebanon, Hezbollah basically originated from the Shia bloc of this population during the civil war, which was during the 70s until 1990. However, when Hezbollah was created as we know it today in the early 80s, Iran was very much behind that group, financing it, and is financing this group up until today, which also means that it's being considered in this region as a proxy, a non-state organization, basically, part of this bigger axis of resistance that Iran talks about, with proxies in Iraq, in Syria, in Yemen. And as a result, it functions as a state with an failed state, I would actually have to say at this point, because there is no functioning government in Lebanon. There is no president at this point to empower any government. And in fact, Hezbollah is not just considered a terrorist organization by multiple countries, but it's also a political party. So it is sitting in the cabinet. It is sitting in the parliament. In many ways, it has an influence in calling the shots, both politically but also militarily.
Yeah, and it's in a country that has political problems, severe. Lebanon is also in the midst of a recession, one of the deepest that the entire world has seen for centuries. When you consider all of this, does the government in Lebanon, does it really have any influence whatsoever over Hezbollah?
The situation is such that Hezbollah militants are part of the government as a party, as we've pointed out in the report as well. And I think this is what is often maybe not seen internationally, because internationally what we hear is one thing, that Hezbollah is a designated terrorist organization by various countries. But people forget that it is really very much interlinked with parts of the society, specifically the Shia population of this country, which is about 1/3, an estimated 1/3 of the country, which also means that there are other parts of society who do not endorse the Hezbollah group, and also not all people who are Shia will tell you that they are a fan of Hezbollah militants and their doctrine. However, since the state here is very weak and their state institutions are incapable of solving major problems, what Hezbollah does is really received as a fertile ground in many parts of the society. And a lot of people here that I've been talking to are saying that they're actually fed up by two things, that they feel that the Hezbollah militants are hijacking not only the Shia part of the population and using and misusing their religion, the Shia Muslims, but they're hijacking the entire country.
Yeah, it's an excellent explanation of how power is wielded in a country that is paralyzed by crisis. Our senior international correspondent, Fanny Fichar, tonight in Beirut. Fanny, thank you.